Prayers to the gods, weed and cigars, Venus and Mars, reach for the stars. Everything authentic about me, ain't nothing fake. Picture hurdles, we is running and jumping gates. Picture turtles, we is teenagers from the sewer. Drop jewels, I'm a clumsy jeweler. Peace to everybody on planet Earth and all across the universe. Right now you watching Healing Properties with me, Kareem Raquib. Thanks for joining me. Right now, this is the 6th installment of Healing Properties. I want to thank everybody who tuned in to the last one. I really appreciate everybody and the support and the love y'all show me. I'm gonna continue to try to put out good content for y'all. This episode, I'm gonna be talking about family, and I think family is very important to me. I'm a very, very family-oriented person. I'm the type of person where like family mean the most to me. And I think, like I said in my first episode, the thing that's gonna really bring Black people out of the condition that we in right now is the structure of the Black family and the Black household, you know. And that first episode, I was more so talking about relationship-wise. Right now, I'm just gonna talk about family as a whole, you dig? So let's get into it. One thing I definitely wanted to touch on first and foremost was I had made a post on Facebook. Shout out to all my friends and family on Facebook. But I made a post on Facebook, and anybody that follow me on Facebook know you gotta have a sense of humor, you know, to even deal with me on Facebook. But I made a post, and it was somewhere along the lines of like, I can't trust a female that's 30, that's over 30 and don't have children. Like I use this, the words I use, like, bitch, you had one job, you know. It's like having a gun for 15 years and not firing it, you know. And the words that I used was coming from a humorous point of view, but in reality it was just me. Like when I post on Facebook, it's really just be my thoughts in real time, and then I make a post, you know. And it really was just me thinking about like, you know, when you hear females say that's over 30 and they say they 28, 29, 30 plus, and they say they don't have kids or they don't want kids, you know. And just me as a man, coming from the male species, that no matter what's going on, I couldn't push out a human being, you know. So that's something that's so special to me, and I admire it so much for women to be able to do that. Like, that's amazing to me. So when I meet females who got all their sense about themselves and got themselves together in life, and then they say they don't want kids, it's just odd to me. It's like everybody. I'm a believer in pro-choice. You can do what you want with your own body, but I have so many questions when I meet women who don't want to have kids, you know. Like when I look at things from a basic level, you know, I think that's important, you know, like that's how we gonna carry on our race. That's how we gonna become the kings and queens and royalty that we speak about. And it starts at the womb, you dig? With men having an equal part in it, but with the physical burden being on the women. Like, I've never heard a woman say, oh, I don't want to have a kid because it just looked too painful. You know, it's just always something superficial behind it or shallow. Like they want to travel, or, you know, they want to finish their schooling and things of that nature. And I respect all of that. But those same women, I don't really ever see or hear about them having children as a priority, you know. So I just think that should be a thing that's put on a list of priorities with finishing your schooling and seeing the world and having a stable household and marriage. You know, it's always amazing to me when I hear females say, oh, I'm waiting to have a kid, I'm waiting until I'm married. You know, I'm waiting until I meet that right guy and I'm married. But I never ever hear a female say, I'm waiting till I'm married to have sex, or I'm abstinent, or I'm celibate until I'm married, or until I finish my schooling, or until this, that, and the third. You know, so then we have a lot of females that fall into that trap of what the system and the establishment want us to fall into, because they don't want us to reproduce. They don't want us to procreate. And when I say they, y'all know what I mean. When I say they, I mean the establishment, white supremacy. You dig? So when it come down to it, they don't want us to procreate and reproduce. When you look at where all the Planned Parenthoods at, they all located in the hood. You know, the abortion clinics, they all located near the ghettos and the urban areas. That's what they want. You know, if most women know, they doctors is quick to prescribe them some sort of birth control, specifically the shot Depo-Provera. You do your research on that. That's cancer causing. That's killing females slowly, and that's what they want. So then they put so many other things in front of you to make you feel like you have to do these other things, and that take up so much of your life and put you actually having children on the back burner. Because why do they want that? Well, if you look at the stats and you look at the numbers and all the articles is out there right now, the white race, the European race, is dwindling. In 50 and close to 50 years, they will be non-existent for the most part. So now they putting everything in place to try to counteract that. White supremacy. You got to remember, white supremacy. One of the most effective tactics for them to preserve their race is to make sure we don't continue ours. So they're going to do everything in power, and they're going to make y'all feel like everything else is more important than actually, well, what I said, you had one job. So when I look at a woman, like, okay, that's a burden that God put on them to be able to push out a child and continue on their race, continue on their bloodline, And with that being said, it's up to us as men to protect that and protect them. You dig what I'm saying? And to provide for them so they have what they need to be able to do that. You dig what I'm saying? So we can get into that. That can be a whole nother episode. But I thought that was a good topic to bring into when I'm talking about family. You dig? So the first point that I wanted to speak on when it comes to family, unity within the family. You dig? You have a lot of people, when they get to a certain point, they start to wake up and they start to want woke people around them and conscious people around them. So they start looking outside. They start looking outside of what God has already blessed them with, and that's their family. It's like when you start to become woke, quote unquote, the first thing most woke people come to the conclusion of is that everything you need and everything that you need to succeed in life, spiritually and mentally, is within you. You don't have to look outside of yourself for that spiritual gain, for that mental gain. You can look within yourself. Well, we need to start looking at our family as ourselves. You dig what I'm saying? So once we start looking at our family the same as how we look at ourselves, then we'll realize that we don't necessarily have to look outside of ourselves for that unity, for that brotherhood. You dig? For example, like me, on my journey, I've looked into a lot of things. Like I went to meetings. I went to meetings at the temple with the Nation of Islam, and building with brothers on that level. But I remember one thing my mother told me when I was young, coming home from school. I might have been talking about some of my friends or one of my friends or something of that nature. And my mother told me, like, why are you talking about friends? You ain't got no friends. You got 6 siblings. What you need friends for, And she told me this when I was maybe 5 or 6, and that always stuck with me in life. You know what I'm saying? I'm the middle child. I got 3 siblings older than me and 3 siblings younger. You know, I got 3 brothers and I got 3 sisters. You dig? So like I always look at them for like if I needed a core of some type of organization, we all adults now, so I'm gonna reach out to them first, and we need to start utilizing that and really taking advantage of what God gave us. You know, this actually my brother calling me right now. And like my brother, I'm 4 or 5 years older than my brother, you know what I'm saying? But over the years we got closer and closer, and I got cousins that I'm in the same age range with, and I try my best to reach out to them and deal with them, uncles and aunts. What we got to realize is it's a reason. If you do have a big family, you do have a lot of brothers and sisters, it's a reason why God gave you that and God bless you with that, and you got to utilize that, because that can be the most powerful thing that you can utilize that can help you build, because these are the people you've known your whole life. These are the people that know you best. You know what I'm saying? So you might be able to, it might be easier, it might seem easier to go outside of your family and deal with friends and close friends and people that you meet that got some of the same interests as you, but it's going to mean so much more if you're dealing with your actual family, because one thing we don't understand as Black people is how important our last name is. Whatever your last name is, how important it is and how important it's going to be to your legacy. Because no matter, as a man, no matter what your last name is, 9 times out of 10, you're going to pass that last name down to your children. You dig? And that last name mean more than you actually mean. Your last name is going to be bigger than you as an individual. You dig? No matter what your last name is. And while we speaking on families and last names, you dig? One thing you got to understand is, if you in a position and you in a situation where you want to rise above this oppression that white supremacy is causing, the first thing you might want to do, and one of the most important things you might want to do and look into, is if you walking around with the oppressor's last name on you, you might want to go and change that. There's really no reason or no excuse. You know what I'm saying? That should be one of your personal goals. You did, and that don't take nothing. You know, go down to City Hall and change your name, or you know, you can just drop it. It ain't necessary. You ain't necessarily got to go to City Hall and do it. It could be one thing on paper. That paper don't mean nothing for real. That paper is not necessarily you. You are who you say you are. You dig? So just stop using it. If you using a oppressor last name, if you a Smith or a William or a Jackson, or we could keep going, you know. We all know that is the colonizer last name, and that's what they put on us. So when we want to do a genealogy check and we want to find out where we from, that last name is gonna wind up leading you. It's as far as your Black people in your family, it's gonna stop at slavery, but it's gonna continue. It's not gonna go to Africa. It's gonna go somewhere in Europe, you know, some Germans or some Dutch or something like that. You did. So there's nothing wrong with starting your legacy when you want to start it. If it's not already what you want it to be in the past, it's nothing wrong with you starting it where you want to start it. So if you got an idea of where you want to be and you want your family to be and your legacy to be in the future, start it right now. You know, decide what you want your family's last name to be, and put that into existence right now. Manifest it right now. You dig? Because our last name is so important to us. When it comes to the white race, they already know. It's already been installed in them from a young age how important their last name is. For example, the President of the United States, Donald Trump. His last name is him. Is him. That his whole business is his last name, the Trump last name. And he can trace that last name all the way back to his original land, where they from in Germany. He can trace it all the way back there from his father and so on and so forth. You know, Donald Trump got an older brother, had an older brother that was supposed to continue on and be in the place where Donald Trump at. I forgot his name, but he wound up being, he didn't, I watched a documentary about it, and it was saying like how he wasn't cut he wasn't cut to continue on that business mind state, that treacherous mind state of the kind of person who Donald Trump is. His brother was more of a kind-hearted person, you dig? But guess what? I don't know his first name, but I know his last name was Trump. He wound up becoming a pilot and becoming an alcoholic, and he drunk himself to death. He was a drunk, you know? And they don't speak about him. When you talk about the Trumps, you talking about Donald Trump. He continued on the name. You dig? He did what it take to continue on the legacy. And his children is going to do the same thing. So we need to realize that it don't matter how many friends you got, you know, you going to be remembered by your family. And this is real. Your friends is going to be remembered by their family. You know what I'm saying? And this is the reality of it. We've been so lost being over here, you know, in America, coming up through slavery, that we look in so many other different directions for companionship and family when we all actually have families, you know. It just come down to us utilizing our family, you dig? So when we talk about black people uniting, I feel like the first thing we need to do is unite with our own family, you dig? And in order to do that, the first thing as a people, what we need to realize and what we need to do is we need to learn how to forgive our family, you know? We need to definitely learn how to forgive our family. Specifically, we need to learn how to forgive our parents, you know? I come from a generation where I was born in 88, you know, and I come from a generation where me and all my friends grew up, not me specifically, but most of my friends grew up saying, when they ask about their father, they say, fuck that nigga. I don't give a fuck about that nigga. That nigga ain't never did nothing for me. That nigga was a dope fiend, whatever the case, you know what I'm saying? No remorse, no understanding, you know? And I feel like when we talk about, we love saying we God body, we this, that, and third. God is the most merciful, the most forgiving. You know what I'm saying? So to me, that's divine to be able to forgive when you have no reason to. You really don't have to. You know what I'm saying? But anybody that know me know, unless you family or unless I consider you family, you food. You know, that's how I look at it. I have no remorse for you. But when it comes to my family, I try to be the most remorseful, you dig? The most forgiving, because it's like, why not? You know, why not? That's a beautiful thing. Like, no matter what your parents put you through, no matter what you went through with your parents, it's a godly thing to be able to forgive them. Because guess what? We tend to forget. We tend to take ourselves out of the reality of knowing that our parents was our age at one time too. Our parents didn't really understand the world like how we might not understand it right now. Our parents was going through the same thing we going through right now, if not worse, you know. Our parents was hit with the atomic bomb in the 80s, in the 80s and the early 90s with crack cocaine. You dig? We couldn't imagine getting hit with something like that right now. And keep in mind, if you is an 80s baby, your parents was coming out of the 60s and 70s when it was hippies and it was peace and love and it was free spirit when a motherfucker would do whatever drug they put in front of them, from mushrooms to acid, LSD, anything. So once crack hit, it was peace and love. Let's try it. And we see what became of that. You dig? So we tend to feel like because they are parents that they were supposed to, for some reason, have better judgment than we got, or be able to handle themselves differently, when in reality they was kids, they was young adults at the same time, and they got lost and caught up in the sauce, you know, just like some of us is right now. It's crazy because some of the brothers that I know who was saying, fuck my daddy, he a dope fiend, this, that, and the third, now they in the same position. They got multiple kids, multiple baby mamas. They might have a little habit that they trying to shake right now, and they look, but they pride won't allow them to see. In reality, they understand deep down inside where their parents was coming from, but they still gonna hold on to that. that grudge they have against their parents and don't want to forgive them. You know what I'm saying? But that's a beautiful thing. Like, we had to forgive our parents and we had to move forward. You know what I'm saying? Like, I try not to get too personal into my life, in these videos, because I'm actually working on an autobiography right now. So I'm gonna put it all in there and get in depth. But most people know I grew up in a system. I grew up in foster care. I was adopted, you know what I'm saying? And I grew up thinking that me and my 6 siblings was taken away from my mother back in '94. But in reality, she gave us up because she couldn't handle us. She had a habit and she had an addiction that she was dealing with. So she gave us up. And for the longest, I felt like, wow, okay, I'm an orphan. This happened to me. But as I get older and I realize, I know that was the most motherly or the most powerful thing my mother could have did at the time. Her having 7 kids, only being in her early 30s and not being able to handle it. You know, she didn't just let us. We lived in East Cleveland on Stanwood, you know, in the early '90s, rats and roaches. Like, she didn't just let us fall complete victim of our situation. She gave us up so people who can't help us helped us. And I'm speaking to you right now, when I could have been in a way worse situation if I did live with my mother. Anything could have happened, you know. So I feel like that was very powerful. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was always a mama's boy, even though I most of my life I didn't live with my mother. But she always was superwoman to me. Like, and I got siblings who may talk crazy to my mother because, you know, they don't have the same kind of understanding as me. But me personally, I don't play that when it comes to my mother. I don't play that at all. No disrespect. Like, one thing for sure, 2 things for certain. Like, I would rather not speak to my mother than to disrespect her or to belittle her, because she already got the world doing that to her. She got her own sisters, siblings maybe doing that to her, and her cousins and family members. So she not going to ever witness that from me. Only thing she ever witnessed from me is love and me embracing her and respecting her, you know what I'm saying? Because it's too easy. It's too easy for me to disrespect my mother or even my father. We could take it to my father, the same deal. You know, my father, I never lived with my father. My father never did anything for me. And my father's he in the same city as me. He doing well for himself. He not a dolphin on the corner living out of a box or something. He doing all right. You know, I got his number on my phone right now. I could call him and say what's up. And that's about it. You know what I'm saying? But I've never been the kind of person where it was like, yeah, fuck him, he ain't never do nothing for me. Because it's like, for what? I got 5 kids myself. So it didn't take long for me to understand what he was going through. So I have the most understanding for my father, even though he might feel kind of guilty and look at me sideways because he expecting a type of energy from me, but he never really get that energy from me. When I talk to him, I don't call him by his name, I call him Pops. You know what I'm saying? And when I don't ask him for nothing, I don't expect nothing from him. But if I need some advice, you know, because I know he's a smart guy, I get some advice from him, you know, and I keep it there. You dig? I try to be respectful as possible, because at the end of the day, man, no matter what you went through with your parents, they know where they messed up at. They know where they flaws and the mistakes they made. They know it. It's nothing you can say to them that somebody or that they ain't already said to themselves about their parenting skills. It's nothing. You know what I'm saying? So to me, the most important thing for me, as far as me dealing with my mother or father, is for them to see that they came together to make somebody that is not a complete failure. I'm not an idiot. I still got some sense about myself. I can still talk to them with some sense. They can still see me and they see I'm a stand-up person. You know, no matter what flaws I got, they see I'm not completely washed out, you know what I'm saying? Completely washed up out here, like locked up or in a wheelchair because I done got shot and paralyzed or something, you know what I'm saying? Like, if they didn't actually through life give me lessons or teach me things verbally or I didn't see things from them, I still have their DNA in me, you know what I'm saying? So I still represent them. So that's a real important thing. Like, first thing we got to do as young black people is forgive our parents, because what they was going through, we really could never imagine it. It was, to believe it or not, I feel like it was worse, because this is the age of information. They didn't have that back then. They was lost. You know what I'm saying? Now we got a little more advantage than them. We got the internet, you know. We got a little more information than them, you know. So what white supremacy and what the government, what the establishment was pulling on them, they might not be able to get it off with us. They got to come a little more sophisticated with how they try to drape us in. But our parents' generation, it was easy for them to get draped in because it was different times, you know. So we really got to realize and we got to understand that it just take the pressure off of you. The show is called Healing Properties, and to heal, you got to reveal, and you got to, it's nothing wrong with speaking your mind and letting it be known how you feel and the different things you go through and your concerns and just how you feel when it comes to your parents. But we got to always remember that the most powerful thing we can do is forgive them, and then we always move forward with positivity after that. Because you got to remember, if your parents know where they messed up at, they know the flaws and the mistakes they made, they might feel guilty about that, right? But all it takes is for you to come disrespectful, come sideways to them. Now they have a reason to really say, fuck you, little nigga. You know what I'm saying? I ain't been around, I ain't been dealing with you anyway, so it's not gonna take much for them to say fuck you and forget about you, right? But if you stay respectful, you forgive them, you stay loving, you know, and treat them like who they are, then you will get what you've been looking for. And I don't care what nobody say. I don't care what nobody say. Like, if you a black man or a young black woman, young black man, young black woman, like, you need your parents in your life. If they still alive, you need them in your life. You don't need to hold no grudge against them to where they ain't on your shit list and they one of your enemies. Like, you don't need that. You need to do everything in your power to keep a loving relationship with your parents. And now to the parents, right? One thing as parents, what you got to realize is it's a different time, you know. Our parents' generation, that generation from the 80s, from the 70s, they was plagued with a lot of bullshit that the government was throwing at them to slow them down. But we got to remember, it's a lot of different parenting styles, you know. You can look them up. It's a lot of different parenting styles, but I know one thing for sure. Growing up where I grew up at in Cleveland, you know, the main parenting style is the old school one. And I call it slave parenting because to me, it come all the way back from slavery to where, you know, y'all remember, stay out of grown folks' business. When grown folks talking, you better not say nothing. You can't express how you feel, your opinion. You better not talk back. You better not say nothing crazy. Getting your ass beat, all that. Like, to me, that come trickle down. That's watered down slavery. You know what I'm saying? Like, we gotta realize that it really didn't work with our parents' generation. Our parents tried to come at us with that because that's how they was raised. And it was real. That's really how they was raised. You know what I'm saying? But of course, the further you go back, the closer you get to slavery. So the more you're going to see that parents was treating their kids how the slave master was treating them. That's how they learn how to parent. You know what I'm saying? So it was like, it got to the point where the parents want the utmost respect, but not giving the child no respect. You know what I'm saying? It's to the point now we in different times. Like I said, we in the age of information. You know, you're not about to just come at your child however you want to and think they're gonna accept that. No, they able to turn around and look and research and be like, no, this is wrong. You gotta respect me. I'm gonna respect you. You gotta respect me. And that's the thing when it come to parenting and dealing with your child and dealing with your parent. It gotta be a mutual respect. It gotta be a mutual respect. Your kids, if you come at your kids like they're a human being, like they do have sense, then that's how they gonna come at you. Period. Point blank period. Because guess what? When we leave outside the household, that's what we gotta deal with. And we get to the point now we waking up and we trying to break that curse, you know? it's to the point now where you might go to work and you got to deal with that from your supervisor, from your boss, because they cutting your check, or they in a position of authority at the time. They might feel like they could come at you how they want to, talk to you how they want to, and you better not say nothing, or you in fear of losing your job. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, you don't really understand, like, okay, I'm here working. Why you can't talk to me like a human? Why you can't show me real respect? You know, and that started in the household, you dig? It's like, once you teach your kids that, look, I'm going to respect you, you respect me, we going to speak, we going to communicate. If you feel some type of way, let me know, you know, then guess what? When they live outside the house, they're going to expect the same thing, you know, and they not going to take nothing less than the same thing. You dig? And that really start in the household. We got to get rid of that old slave mentality of parenting. We got to get rid of that, you know. So we gotta revamp the whole understanding of parenting and how we deal with our kids. It gotta be a mutual respect. You know what I'm saying? Even when it comes to discipline your child. I'm not against physical discipline. I'm not against that at all. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't see nothing wrong with that. But there's levels to it. You know what I'm saying? There's levels to it. I honestly feel like the earlier you start popping your child on the hand, you know what I'm saying? You might have to pop them in the mouth. You know what I'm saying? Nothing excessive, nothing that's going to leave bruises and marks. But the earlier you do that, the less you're going to have to do it when they get older. I'm a firm believer in that, and I got 5 children. You know what I'm saying? We got to understand that that's important. You know, it's really about communication. As long as you can really communicate with your child, then they learn that early, and when they dealing with people in society, they can communicate better because you've already taught them how to speak, how to express their dislikes and their likes and their concerns. You know what I'm saying? We grew up in a household where, like it or not, you better not say shit. You gonna deal with it. You know what I'm saying? And that's not right, because as soon as we get a chance, we wilding out. You know what I'm saying? And that's what happened. So that's what we got to do when it comes to communicating. Also, like I was speaking on, when it comes to unity in your siblings, your brothers and sisters, we got to realize that we have to accept our siblings. You know, we have to accept our siblings because that's who God gave us. You know what I'm saying? Our siblings might not share the same interests as us, might not even be the same type of person that we like dealing with, you know. That's why we might have friends, close friends that we deal with that share the same interests as us. But guess what? Your sibling is your sibling. So one thing y'all got in common is y'all siblings. So it's like, accept your sibling for who they are. You know what I'm saying? Just like anybody you dealing with, if you dealing with them, you gonna accept them for who they are, and you gonna deal with them accordingly. You know what I'm saying? One thing we gotta realize is we really have to accept our siblings. Like, once we do that, then we realize, okay, everything I need right here, you know. For example, I got my younger brother. This my dude, my younger brother. You feel me? I went to prison, did 2 years. When I came home, I realized immediately. You know, my younger brother, he came and picked me up from jail, you know what I'm saying? And I was with him for about a week, but I immediately realized, okay, this is not my same little brother who I left when I went to prison. But one thing I had to realize, his older brother was gone for 2 years. So he had to become the man who he became, you know what I'm saying? And I realized, like, damn, okay, you know what I'm saying? If this wasn't my little brother, I probably wouldn't even play him as close as I play him. Because this little nigga crazy for real, you know what I'm saying? But I realize and I understand at the end of the day, this still my little brother, you know what I'm saying? And I gotta accept my little brother, and I gotta fuck with my little brother, because guess what? One thing I realize, and I make note of with myself, and I really pay attention to, if you got siblings, you got in your life, and you got a mother and father in your life, and you conduct yourself a certain type of way with them, if you really don't fuck with them and you let it be known, I don't fuck with them, I don't fuck with my mother, I don't fuck with my father, I don't fuck with my brothers and sisters, this, that, and the third, and I rock with you, I'm gonna look at you sideways, because I'm always gonna feel like it's all natural in my head. You ain't never gonna fuck with me harder than you fuck with your own family. So I know for a fact, if you don't respect your siblings, I know it, no matter what you say, you're not gonna respect me. You know what I'm saying? Because whatever your siblings did, I ain't gonna have to do nowhere near close to that for you to stop fucking with me. You know what I'm saying? But if I see you really rock with your siblings no matter what, you really rock with your parents no matter what, then I'm gonna look at you as a person that I can really respect, and that I know that really respect me. You know what I'm saying? Because they got a strong foundation with their understanding and their loyalty. You dig? So accept your siblings and get close to your siblings. Be closer to your siblings than you is your friends, because guess what? That's your legacy. You know what I'm saying? That's what that boiled down to. And once you do that, and you accepted your siblings and you united with your family closer than you do with outside people, then start realizing when it comes to building a business that you have all the essential people needed that you need to really build a business with. Your own family. Find what their interest is. You know what I'm saying? Try to come to a middle ground and see if y'all can monetize something together that y'all can put your family name on, that's going to be a part of the business. For example, on my father's side, my uncles, my father's mother, to my understanding, they have like a family bail bondsman situation going on, right? To me, that's dope. You know what I'm saying? They brothers and they all bounty hunter bail bondsmen, and that's dope to me. It's a family thing, got their last name on it. You dig? That should be the goal. If you got siblings, that should be your goal. Build a business with your siblings. It don't matter what it is. Y'all can be selling food. It don't matter, because guess what? It's something that y'all kids will be able to fall back on. It's something that's gonna mean the most. It's gonna benefit you the most, because it's gonna benefit your family. Because guess what? If me and my homeboy go out and build something together, at the end of the day, I'm going home to my family and he going home to his family, and he gonna split up his return on the business. He gonna split it up with providing for his family, and I'm gonna use mine to provide for my family. But if we family, yeah, I'm going home to my immediate family, he going home to his, but we all still one big family, you dig? And this is real. As black people, we need this unity within our family, you dig? And building a business with your siblings, that's the most beautiful thing you can do. For example, I'm talking to my lady, she was telling me about, it's cool if I reference your hairdresser? She was telling me about her hairdresser. It's a guy, and he got a bunch of kids, you know what I'm saying? And 7 daughters, you know what I'm saying? And I'm thinking like, damn, don't none of them work with him, work for him? You know what I'm saying? And she was like, nah, not really, I don't think so. And that was just amazing to me, because it's like, I don't know the guy personally, but that would make me question the type of person he is if his own children don't want to work for him or not a part of his business. Like that would, like, if I did hair, if I was a hairdresser and I had 7 daughters, all 7 of them would have some, I would make sure all 7 of them has something to do with the business. If it ain't the paperwork side, secretarial type stuff, anything, sweeping up hair, like it would be my family, my daughters would have something to do with it, you know what I'm saying? And I feel like that should be our goal. We need to stop looking outside of our family. We need to stop looking outside of the people that God naturally put around us that we share DNA with for unity and companionship and to build with. We should be building with our family first. People say family first, but don't really understand what that means. You know what I'm saying? I feel like that's the most important thing. We need to build with our family first. And if you build a business with your family, then that's how you ensuring your legacy, your children, your nieces and nephews is going to always have something. If it's not through you, it's going to be through your brother, through your sister, through somebody, because the last thing you want to do in this future coming up is want your children to turn 18, graduate, and have to go to somebody else outside of their family to look for employment, to cut them a check. When your child turn 18, 16, 17, and they looking for that summer job, they should be able to come to you, one of your sisters, one of your brothers, one of your cousins for employment. Because guess what? That's what these white folks is doing. They not sending their kids nowhere else. They sending their kids to their brother to go, he need a job. He needs something to do. and they putting them on the payroll. And that's what we need to focus on. Now, with that being said, I'm going to wrap it up. Okay. I hope I touched on a lot of powerful things. I appreciate and love everybody for tuning in. Stay tuned. If you curious about the song that's playing in the intro, it's called Elephants. It's on my SoundCloud, Kareem Raquib. The link should be in the bio to my SoundCloud. Check it out. I got my tape coming soon. It's gonna be Healing Properties, the tape. Then I'm writing an autobiography, also called Healing Properties. All that'll be coming this year, 2018. So thank you, God bless you. Peace to everybody on planet Earth and all across the universe. This Healing Properties with me, Kareem Raquib. One love.